Traveling to the Dragon and Tiger Mountain under one person, Lin Lan inexplicably became a new disciple. Coincidentally, Lu Yu's chaotic teaching resulted in Master Tian is amazing. A genius has arrived at Longhu Mountain. As soon as I taught him, he learned the Golden Light Mantra and Thunder Technique. I casually made up a spell, and he realized the mysterious door of the Wind Queen. I casually gave him a mirror, and he created a mirrored space. When the Luo Tian festival began and various forces watched as Lin Lan in the field raised his hand to reveal his own unique skills, they all began to doubt life. Did you make a mistake? How could someone have such an incredible understanding? Zhang Chulan. Lin Lan, you will be my big brother in the future. Feng Bao Bao. Lin Lan is the first person I can't bury. Old Heavenly Master. This person has a high level of intelligence. It's better to give him the position of Heavenly Master. Keywords of the novel. Under one person. Do you really think becoming a celestial teacher is difficult? No pop-ups, under one person. Do you really think it's difficult to become a celestial master? Complete download of TXT, under one person. Do you really think it's difficult to become a celestial master? Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Lu Yu, come and teach. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Lu Yu, come and teach. Longhu Mountain, Tianchi Mansion. Zhang Jiwei, the 65th generation Heavenly Master of the Heavenly Master Mansion, and Tian Jinzhong, the junior brother of the old Heavenly Master, are sitting upright in the lobby. Rongshan, the 9th disciple of the Heavenly Master, is currently reporting to his master and uncle. Master and uncle, the tomb of Zhang Shilin that Master had previously instructed his disciples to secretly monitor was dug up by someone. The disciples were momentarily negligent and did not see clearly who was digging the tomb. Moreover, Zhang Shilin's grandson, Zhang Chulan, was also targeted by two different groups of people, probably from Chuanqing in the company. Master, what should we do next? The old master touched his gray beard and smiled. It seems that these people are still not giving up. It is estimated that there were some rumors about what happened back then, and they were caught by the people of Chuanqing and the company. Tian Lao furrowed his brow and asked with some concern, after all, it's about the past. Senior brother, the people in the company are okay. If everyone knows Zhang Chulan's true identity, it may not be easy for him. Why don't we send someone to take Zhang Chulan to Longhu Mountain first? After all, he is Huai's biological grandson. After hearing this, the old master shook his head and refused. In no time, Chuanqing and the company are just skeptical. If we bring Zhang Chulan to Longhu Mountain, wouldn't it be a real deal? Chuanqing is fine, and the company will definitely send someone to inquire. At this time, it is best to remain unchanged and respond to changes. Huai is really stubborn, but the person at the bottom said that Zhang Chulan doesn't seem to be a stranger. He has been staring at him all along, and I always have no confidence in my heart. After thinking for a moment, Old Master looked up at Rongshan. Rongshan, go ahead and personally monitor. If the company's personnel come into contact with Zhang Chulan, you don't need to worry about it for now. If everyone wants to come into contact with Zhang Chulan, then it's up to you to take action. Are you going to keep an eye on Zhang Chulan? Rongshan is in some difficulty. If I go by myself, what should I do with the teaching of the disciples here? Master, it's not a problem for me to go, but if I do, the new disciples will have no one to teach them. The other disciples have their own things to do, and it will take at least 2 months to come back. The old master frowned. At this time, Longhu Mountain was in the midst of employment, and his 10 disciples, except for old Jurong Mountain, either passed away or were sent out. However, the newly recruited disciples were not taught and were not very good. Just as the Heavenly Master was pondering what to do, Tian Lao suddenly thought of someone. Senior brother, I do think of a person. There was a disciple named Lu Yu who took care of me all along. I once tested him and his basic skills were still very good. Anyway, they came back soon after 2 months. Let him replace Rongshan to teach them. How about that? Lu Yu. The heavens quickly remembered the disciple. Ha ha ha, since it was recommended by you personally, junior brother, I naturally feel at ease. Since that's the case, let's call Lu Yu in. The heavenly master ordered that a disciple would soon notify Lu Yu, who was waiting outside the door. Lu Yu, come with me quickly. Tian Shi and Tian Lao want to see you. Upon hearing this, Lu Yu was stunned. 2 master-level figures from the well-behaved Longhu Mountain had a meeting and asked me, as a young generation, to come in. Why? With such doubts in mind, Lu Yu entered the lobby in a daze. Disciple Lu Yu, pay respects to the heavenly master and master. The celestial master looked up and down at the landing feather and nodded. Lu Yu, your master Rongshan has something to do and needs to go down the mountain. During his absence, you will teach the new disciples. Would you be willing to do so? What? What? Teaching new disciples. Did I hear you right? Lu Yu gave a bitter smile, scratched his head, and said somewhat unconfident, Heavenly Master, I have never taught a new disciple before. I am really worried that I am not satisfied with this bottle of water, and half of it is shaking randomly, which has damaged the disciples below. How about? Heavenly Master, why don't you choose another person? After hearing this, Rongshan glared at Lu Yu. Lu Yu. Master and Tian Lao have entrusted you with such an important task, so I can trust you. You have been to Longhu Mountain for a long time, and Tian always thinks that your basic skills are not a problem. It is appropriate for you to teach your disciples. How can you lack confidence in yourself? Lu Yu smiled bitterly and said, well. Master, it's not that the disciples don't want it. The disciples really don't have experience, and if I go to teach the disciples, who will take care of Master? Old Master Tian and Old Tian smiled at each other after hearing Lu Yu's words. This disciple is quite filial. Tian Lao said to Lu Yu, you don't have to worry about taking care of me. Just have Xiao Qingzi around, and I'm not deaf or mute. What's wrong with taking care of me? Tian Lao had already said so, and Lu Yu couldn't shirk it. He had no choice but to bow his hand and say, that heavenly master, I will obey your orders. The heavenly master saw that Lu Yu agreed and waved his hand, saying to Rongshan and Lu Yu. That's good, you two can go down first. Rongshan and Lu Yu both knew that the 2 elders had something to say, so they both retreated. After Rongshan retreated, Lu Yu closed the door of the lobby tightly. Rongshan strode towards his residence, ready to pack his things, and Lu Yu quickly followed Rongshan. Senior uncle, I have never taught new disciples before. Well. Why don't you go and help me with this, senior uncle? Rongshan sighed. He also had an impression of Lu Yu. If it weren't for Tian Lao reminding him, he would have really forgotten about this person. This Lu Yu has good temperament and talent, but the only downside is that he seems to have little confidence in himself. Rongshan stopped and extended his hand to heavily pat Lu Yu's shoulder. Lu Yu, you usually take care of Tian Lao. It's been hard for you. You are very meticulous and take good care of Tian Lao. However, as a disciple of Longhu Mountain, Tian Lao recommends you to teach new disciples. He also knows your skills and believes in you. Lu Yu smiled bitterly and said, if that's the case, I'm also very grateful for the opportunity given to me by the Heavenly Master and Master Tian, but I'm really afraid I won't be able to teach my disciples well. Rongshan shook his head and said, why don't you understand? You've only been familiar with those basic skills for 2 months. Teach these disciples these things. Rongshan looked around and then lowered his voice, saying, listen, it's up to you to teach. Whether or not you learn is up to those disciples. Although they have just started, the quality of their learning can also prove whether they are qualified to join the Heavenly Master's mansion. If their basic skills have been in a mess in the past 2 months, it can only prove that they are either not working hard or have poor talent. You also walked over step by step like this at that time. You just need to teach with confidence and boldness. If you teach badly, no one will care about you. If something really happens, Master Uncle will help you carry it. How about that? Upon hearing Rongshan's words, Lu Yu suddenly understood everything. I understand. It turns out that teaching is not important, as a senior pretending to be forced is important. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Pretending to be the most important and humble new disciple. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Pretending to be the most important and humble new disciple within the training ground of Longhu Mountain. At this moment, the training ground is filled with new disciples who have passed various assessments and become disciples of the Dragon and Tiger Mountain sect. Although they have not yet formally become disciples, they have already killed many people at this stage. So coming here means they have already put one foot into the Heavenly Master's mansion. As long as they also put the other foot in, they will become a new era Taoist with 5 insurances and 1 gold in Longhu Mountain. Haha, we've finally reached this point. My uncle said, as long as we reach this point, we'll basically be there. Great, as long as I perform well, I will definitely become a Taoist of Longhu Mountain. I want to cultivate well. After returning, I will open an altar to worship my ancestors and give my father and mother a long face. The name of Dragon and Tiger Mountain is very famous. If I go back to my hometown, I guess the uncles and aunts in the village will also call me Lord. I really want to learn the Golden Light Curse well and then contribute to the company. Lin Lan stood in a corner, looking around at the disciples who worshipped the Dragon and Tiger Mountain with him. The round and round conversations left him deeply lost in thought because he is a traveler who has just traveled here. Watching the surroundings and hearing the conversations of these people, he realized this is actually the Dragon and Tiger Mountain in the world under one person. Although he had never watched a single person plot in his past life, he knew several key characters, such as Zhang Chulan, Feng Baobao, Lao Tianshi, Wang Yi, Zhuge Qing, and others. And I also know that this is a world full of strangers, with hidden crises everywhere. Fortunately, he has now traveled here and is about to participate in the new disciples' special training. If you behave well, maybe you can become the disciple of the old master's lineage. So, whether for self-protection or to climb higher, Lin Lan feels that she should study seriously, humbly, and work hard. At the same time, Lu Yu hid behind a copper cauldron and quietly looked at these new disciples. Fortunately, these disciples don't seem to have too difficult to discipline. Lu Yu kept muttering to himself, teaching is my business, learning is their business. Master Rongshan said, teaching students is not important, pretending to be forced is important. Yes. As a senior brother, pretending to be forced is important, and I must show my senior brother's style. After cheering himself on, Lu Yu took a long sigh of relief to calm his mood, then carried his hands behind his back and put on his style, leisurely walking out. According to Lu Yu's plan, after walking out, the newly recruited disciples should immediately calm down and queue up in an orderly manner. However, it may be because he is also too young, and on the surface, he looks no different from these new disciples. Even if some disciples see him, he still treats him as the same beginner in the same period, and no one likes him. Lu Yuqing coughed a few times, but still no one paid attention to him. Damn it. These stinky kids are ignoring me. Okay, let's show you the power of senior brother. Lu Yu took a deep breath and then began reciting the Golden Light Mantra. Xuanzong of heaven and earth, with the root of 10,000 qi, extensively cultivates billions of tribulations, proves my divine abilities, and is the only one within and outside the 3 realms. With a golden light in his body, he reflects my body. As Lu Yu's last word fell to the ground, a golden light suddenly emanated from his body, covering his entire body. Although it was not very thick, it was also very impressive in the eyes of these new disciples. In an instant, These new disciples, with their eyes lit up, began to stir up. Suck. Is this the golden light curse? Good. So handsome. So it's senior brother. Great, I want to learn the golden light mantra too. Listening to the surprised tone of these new disciples, Lu Yu was very satisfied. Then he restrained his golden light and deliberately said in a deep voice, "Since you know I am a senior brother, why don't you queue up for me? After all, it's my senior brother who knows the golden light curse." Although it looked small, the new disciples present quickly lined up on the training ground. Watching these new junior brothers so sensible, Lu Yu's hanging heart was also relieved. It seems that what senior uncle said is right. Teaching is not important, only pretending to be forced is the most important. Pay attention in the future. Before I come, stand up well on the training ground and don't whisper to each other. This is Longhu Mountain, not your family's Khan. If anyone makes any more noise, get out of the mountain for me. Do you hear me? The disciples answered neatly and uniformly, "I heard you." Lu Yu's vanity was greatly satisfied, and he also let go, even a bit too much. Master Rongshan was ordered by the Heavenly Master to go down the mountain to do some trivial things. From now on, I am your teacher. You have come to Longhu Mountain to learn from your master, and I believe you know what Longhu Mountain teaches, right? The disciples nodded one after another, and Lin Lan listened attentively below. She even took out a notebook from her arms and wrote down every word Lu Yu said in it. Lin Lan's movements were also seen by Lu Yu. He thought this kid was secretly playing with his phone, but unexpectedly took out a notebook and jotted down what he had just said. This greatly satisfied Lu Yu's vanity. It seems that this is a good junior brother. I need to teach him well myself. Lu Yu continued, everyone has qi, and we, as outsiders, are generally referred to as the innate qi. If you can worship under the door of Longhu Mountain and walk until now, I think your qi sense is still very good. As Lu Yu spoke, he reached out his hand and released his own breath. A semi-transparent gaseous object emerged in the palm of his hand. After reading it, the disciples took a deep breath and couldn't stop moaning. Keep an eye on it, this is the qi in our body. If you want to be a disciple of Longhu Mountain, you must master the Golden Light Mantra, and this is the foundation of the Golden Light Mantra. To practice the foundation of the Golden Light Mantra well, you need to be able to freely control the energy released from your body and condense it on the surface. However, this is still a bit difficult for you at the beginning. As long as you can find that feeling in the palm of your hand and release the energy in the form of a qi ball, that's it. Let's start practicing now. With Lu Yu's command, the disciples began to extend their palms and desperately search for that feeling. Lin Lan had traveled through time, so he naturally didn't know what innate qi was, and as for what qi sensation he didn't know, so when Lu Yu asked them to start practicing on their own, his reaction was different from that of ordinary people. He didn't extend his hand to try to find his own qi sensation, and then let it out, but watched how others did it. His bewildered appearance was also noticed by Lu Yu. Lu Yu remembered that Lin Lan was the disciple who secretly recorded with a notebook just now. He still liked such a studious disciple very much, so he walked up to Lin Lan and encouraged him. Don't worry about failure, boldly release your energy from your body. Failure is not scary, what's scary is not trying. Lin Lan looked at Lu Yu and nodded heavily, then closed her eyes and began to feel the feeling of releasing the qi from inside her body. Lu Yu watched as Lin Lan closed his eyes and began to work hard. He nodded in satisfaction and turned to look at other disciples. However, just as he turned around, he instantly felt an extremely strong burst of energy behind him. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Nima. You really know how to do it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Nima. You really know how to do it. Failure is not important, what's important is trying. This sentence has been lingering in Lin Lan's heart. Senior brother is very right. Failure is not scary, what's scary is that you don't try. So Lin Lan completely closed her mind and immersed herself in her inner scenery. At first, Lin Lan had no sensation at all, but this kind of thing was like walking for the first time, riding a bicycle for the first time, swimming for the first time. As long as she understood and found the trick, she would never forget it after learning it once. Gradually, Lin Lan found that feeling. In this feeling, time passes very long, but outside of it, time is just a blink of an eye. And as Lu Yu watched Lin Lan close his eyes and start working hard, he nodded in satisfaction and turned to look at the other disciples. However, just as he turned around, he instantly felt an extremely strong burst of energy behind him. Keep looking back. Suddenly, Lin Lan, who had no sense of energy at all, suddenly burst out with energy centered around him, with a radius of 2 meters. It is quite rare for an average person to release qi that can wrap their entire body with a thickness of over 10 centimeters. But Lin Lan and these guys, the gas he released is actually as thick as 2 meters. How could this be possible? That's it. And it's still so strong. Lu Yu can also be considered to have been at Longhu Mountain for several years. Every year, the most talented new disciple is to release qi outside the body, with a thickness of about 5 to 8 centimeters. It is said that Little Master is the most talented among many disciples of the Heavenly Master, and his qi outside the body release thickness is only about 18 centimeters. What's the result? Lin Lan not only has an external thickness of 2 meters. And his gas release is not a semi-transparent state that can only be seen but not touched, but a nearly physical state. The disciples standing near him were pushed aside by the gas he released. Not only that, with Lin Lan as the center, a fierce gust of wind suddenly swept around, and disciples closer to him were knocked to the ground, making even Lu Yu almost unable to stand steady. Lu Yu nervously swallowed his saliva, and the moment the strong wind appeared, it suddenly came to an end. He reached out his finger to touch the qi body released by Lin Lan, but he didn't expect the qi body to suddenly expand outward and then suddenly shrink back to a distance of about 1 meter. Then the semi-transparent and flawless gas began to change color, turning into gold. This is already close to the golden light curse. Lin Lan's changes are not yet complete. When the golden light first formed, there were some impurities formed by unstable gas flow inside. After 2 breaths, the golden light gradually shrank, but also gradually condensed. The golden light became more dazzling and flawless, and the impurities inside disappeared. Finally, Jin Guang contracted to a distance of about 70 centimeters from Lin Lan's body. The amount of energy released is no longer the focus, the key is how dazzling and flawless this golden light is. Nima. This kid actually succeeded. How did he do it? Crouching slot. Surprisingly, it's even more dazzling than senior brother Lu Yu's golden light curse. Is this kid also senior brother? Not only the disciples on the side were stunned. Lu Yu's face was also filled with shock and disbelief. In his eyes, such a dazzling golden light has only been seen in the bodies of the Heavenly Master and Master Tian. Are you sure this his mother is a new disciple? You seem to be teasing me. At this moment, the golden light on Lin Lan's body gradually dissipated. He slowly opened his eyes, but when he saw it, it was the shocked gaze and expression of other fellow disciples, especially Lu Yu's expression was the most brilliant. Lin Lan instinctively thought that it was only after experiencing no change for such a long time that they were shocked. Her talent was so poor, and Lin Lan felt a bit embarrassed. She quickly asked, "Senior brother, am I particularly lacking in talent?" Lu Yu was taken aback when asked poor. Do you call your talent particularly poor? Lu Yu did not answer. What he was most curious about was how Lin Lan did it, so he asked. Have you learned it somewhere before? Have you learned it? Lin Lan shook her head and said, I have never learned it before, To be honest, I had never felt the innate energy before my senior brother taught me, and I just had a little feeling. What? Lu Yu roared, did you just have the feeling of innate energy? Are you lying? If you just had the feeling of innate energy, how did you get to where you are now? Lin Lan scratched her head and said, well. I don't know, senior brother. Did I pass the level like this? Or did I need to practice again? Lu Yu is almost spitting blood out of Lin Lan's anger. Nima. Are you still a person? I have trained my golden light to this level, and I can now generate electricity. Are you still asking me if I have passed the level? You pervert. What a pervert. Lu Yu took a deep breath and adjusted his mindset. He remembered what senior uncle Rongshan had told him before, that as a senior brother, he must show his style and never lose face in front of new disciples. Teaching students is not important, pretending to be forced is important. So he coughed lightly and pretended to be calm, saying, well. You can still be considered careless, but remember that there is always a strong hand in the middle. Well. When our junior martial uncle first joined the mountain gate, he was much more impressive than you. Well. Don't be proud of that. Do you understand what I mean? Lin Lan heard Lu Yu say that she could still be considered careless, which means she has already passed the level. Finally, I breathed a sigh of relief and bowed respectfully, saying, yes, I must remember my senior brother's teachings and never be arrogant or complacent. Seeing Lin Lan's humility, Lu Yu breathed a sigh of relief in his heart, and then he said to the other disciples. You don't have to envy him either. Perhaps his innate qi is quite rich and abundant, so it perfectly matches the cultivation method of the Golden Light Mantra. Moreover, releasing qi externally is only the basic use of qi, and there are many ways to use qi. For example, some people are good at attacking with qi clusters, while others condense qi into flying arrows to launch attacks. These are all diverse ways of using qi. After mastering several methods of qi transportation, it will be of great help for the subsequent learning of various spells. Anyway, you must understand it well. Study hard. The disciples were originally shocked by Lin Lan's abnormality, but after listening to their senior brother's words, they understood that Lin Lan happened to be very suitable for practicing the Golden Light Mantra. As long as they can find the right way to understand, they will definitely be able to be like Lin Lan. Thinking of this, the disciples are once again full of confidence. Please rest assured, senior brother. We will definitely understand and practice well. Lu Yu nodded in satisfaction as he watched these disciples behave so well. Great, I'll check your cultivation results tomorrow. That's all for now. The disciples all bowed to Lu Yu in unison, and after Lin Lan bowed, she also left. Lu Yu looked at Lin Lan's back. I couldn't help but snort softly. What if this kid has strong talent? Is it possible for him to learn several methods of qi transportation before Master Rongshan returns? How could it be? End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Only came up with 200 ways to use qi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 only came up with 200 ways to use qi. Hey, do you think Lin Lan is a bit too abnormal? He can actually put qi out like this. I just saw that his released qi has transformed into a golden light. Although it's not like the Golden Light Mantra, which can achieve the transformation of qi into form, it should be about the same, right? Have you ever seen anyone else cast the Golden Light Curse besides senior brother Lu Yu? That's not true, but the Golden Light Curse of Dragon and Tiger Mountain is not a secret. Even if you can't understand Lin Lan's Golden Light, you should be able to see the expression on senior brother Lu Yu's face clearly. Yeah, I also saw Lin Lan release qi, and senior brother Lu Yu's expression twisted like that. I've never seen anyone's expression so rich, it's really scary. I said, should we get close to him? He has such a high talent, and if he gets along well in Longhu Mountain in the future, maybe he can help us. Don't deal with those crooked and evil sections. This is Longhu Mountain, not the entire clan. If we can't handle it well and provoke these Taoist masters to drive us down the mountain, then how can we be good? I agree. Let's not get too close to him or trouble him. We should cultivate ourselves well. Senior brother, didn't he let us try other ways of transforming chi bodies ourselves? Lin Lan can do it, maybe we can do it too. Right. You're right. Let's go back to practice quickly and not be left behind too much. After Lu Yu left, the other disciples gathered together and whispered. Only Lin Lan remained lost in thought. Just now, senior brother's careless and ordinary words caused Lin Lan's heart to suffer 10,000 points of critical damage. It seems that in a place like Longhu Mountain where tigers dominate, I still need to work harder and strive for strength. The new disciples all lived together without any particularly ancient names, just called dormitories. After Lin Lan returned to the dormitory, she couldn't even eat a bite. She sat cross-legged on the bed and began practicing. Soon, she entered the inner scene again, reaching a state of concentration. Scenes of methods for running chi flashed through her mind and here. After leaving the training ground, Lu Yu returned to Tian Lao's residence and continued to take care of his daily life. Lu Yu was as meticulous as a hare, taking good care of Tian Lao. Tian Lao could tell from the expression on Lu Yu's face that there must be something going on in this kid's heart. Perhaps it was his first time teaching a new disciple today, which made things a bit difficult for him. So he asked with a smile, Xiaolu, this is your first time teaching the new disciples today. Have you encountered any difficulties? It seems that you are feeling unhappy. After listening, Lu Yu let out a bitter smile. Master, there shouldn't be too much difficulty in speaking. The new disciples are all very obedient and serious, but there is one disciple whose talent is really a bit. Grandpa Tian thought that Lu Yu was going to say that his talent was too poor, and he comforted him by saying, every year there are disciples with poor talent. If their talent is poor, you don't have to blame yourself. We are just guides, responsible for bringing them to this road. As for how far they can go, it still depends on themselves. Lu Yu waved his hand and said, no, master. Yes. There is a disciple with exceptional talent. Grandpa Tian stared blankly at Lu Yu for a few seconds. Why don't you just say, hurry up? Well, since you have disciples with good talent, that would be even better. However, if you have good talent, you need to teach them even more severe lessons. You can't let them develop the habit of being arrogant and indulgent just because of their excellent talent, you know. Lu Yu was originally thinking about this matter, but as soon as he heard Grandpa Tian say so, he immediately slapped his head. Master's words are right. If you have good talent, you need to teach strictly and not let him develop the habit of being arrogant and indulgent. I understand. Lu Yu pretended to be clever and thought that his master was going to suppress Lin Lan on his own. Don't let him be too arrogant. Alright, let's have his master teach him how to pretend to be coerced first, and now his master teaches him how to suppress. It seems that his teacher is really worth it. The next day. The new disciples of Longhu Mountain woke up at 6 o'clock and arrived at the training ground after strengthening their bodies. After the disciples stood still and waited for more than 10 minutes, Lu Yu finally arrived late. What comes out is a demeanor as a senior brother. How could a senior brother possibly come earlier than his junior brothers? Hello, senior brother. The new disciples saluted Lu Yu in a neat and uniform manner. Lu Yu looked at these disciples with heavy dark circles under their eyes and couldn't help but nod. It seemed that these disciples had indeed practiced well after returning. But compared to these disciples, Lin Lan's mental state is somewhat good and not very sociable. This kid is not tired anymore, and the dark circles on his face are not that heavy. It's obvious that he's fully asleep. Lu Yu remembered his master's words and wanted to suppress him on his own. It seems like this is a good opportunity. Then he walked up to Lin Lan and asked, "What's your name?" "As for senior brother, my name is Lin Lan." "Take a look at the other senior brothers. They all worked hard last night, with heavy dark circles under their eyes. Looking at you again, it's obvious that you've had enough sleep. Did you practice well yesterday?" Lin Lanshan landed on Yu's hand and looked at the other people. Sure enough, their eye circles were heavy, and he also wondered why he felt energetic when he also practiced yesterday. He quickly explained, "Senior brother, I really had a good understanding last night. I meditated all night." "What? You meditated all night?" Lu Yu was shocked in his heart. If he didn't lie, really meditated all night, and didn't feel tired the next day, there's only one possibility. That's this kid he's settled in. You should know that a true outsider master can reach a state of calmness during cultivation. In this state, he is not only practicing, but also resting and meditating for a night. The next day, not only will he not feel tired, but he will be more energetic than sleeping all night. Lu Yu looked incredulously at the disciple next to him, who nodded. "Senior brother, Lin Lan is right. He was practicing before we went to bed last night. After we woke up, he still sat there practicing and didn't even move the blanket." "Ah." Lu Yu's mouth was so big that it could fit a light bulb. He shook his head and kept telling himself in his heart that he must have enough style, and not show timidity in front of his junior brothers. Cough cough cough, Very good, Lin Lan. You are very hardworking and happy to be my brother, but you practiced all night. What did you understand last night?" Lin Lan replied honestly, "Senior brother, this qi is truly mysterious and difficult to comprehend." Upon hearing these words, Lu Yu's heart finally calmed down. Fortunately, even if this kid had better talent, he didn't reach such a twisted level. But in the next second, Lu Yu will doubt life. "I thought about it all night last night and only came up with over 200 ways of luck. Nima. More than 200 kinds." Not only Lu Yu, but all the other disciples were stunned. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Lin Lan's qi movement shocked the whole audience. Lu Yu has become autistic. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Lin Lan's qi movement shocked the whole audience. Lu Yu has become autistic. Nima. More than 200 kinds. Lu Yu opened his mouth wide, and both eyes turned into black holes. The expressions of the students were also getting more and more exciting. More than 200 types of boasters, right? We didn't find a single one at night, you found over 200 on your own. How could that be? I don't believe it. I don't believe it either. Senior brother Lu Yu, is this possible? Upon hearing this, Lu Yu. His face seemed to be covered with black lines. Good guy. You ask me, who am I going to ask? At this moment. Lu Yu looked at Lin Lan and felt very complicated in his heart. You should know that when he first started, being able to release qi was considered very good. Yun qi is very difficult. It is necessary to circulate the qi in the dantian throughout the body, and different organs in the 5 and 6 organs have different effects. Those who can proficiently use it all have to go through more than a decade or even decades of hard training to achieve it. Even Master Ling Yu dare not guarantee that he can understand all the methods of qi transportation. More than 200, who are you fooling? Do you think it's stones on the ground? You can easily find over 200 things by looking around. Lu Yu's expression gradually became angry, and his aura gradually opened up. The other disciples saw that Landing Yu seemed angry and retreated in fear. Lin Lan also saw it and felt even more uneasy in her heart. Perhaps it was because she realized that there were too few of the more than 200. He swore to heaven that he had really practiced all night last night and dared not slack off at all. Originally, at dawn, when it was time to wake up and gather, he wanted to understand more, but when it was time, he couldn't come up with a few more. Just thinking about this. Lin Lan let out a sigh in her heart. I only realized over 200 things in one night. If it were senior brother Lu Yu, I would probably have realized over 500 things. However, Lin Lan's nervousness fell into Lu Yu's eyes, making him think that Lin Lan was being guilty and exaggerating her reputation. Lu Yu's mind is now filled with the words of ninth martial uncle Rongshan. Teaching is your business, learning or not is their business. As a senior brother, we need to show enough style. Teaching is secondary, pretending to be forced is the most important. Yeah. Pretending to be forced is the most important thing. I haven't pretended to be forced yet. I didn't expect this new disciple to come up and pretend to be forcing me. Good guy, who can bear this? Besides, Master Tian also urged himself to suppress disciples with good discipline and talent, and never let new disciples become too proud and indulgent. The Lin Lan in front of me is really floating, we must take good care of it. So Lu Yu looked at Lin Lan and gritted his teeth, saying, Lin Lan, did you say you realized more than 200 ways to use qi last night? Are you sure you're not lying? Lin Lan's heart became even more uneasy, in fact, he had lied. He replied somewhat flustered. I admit my mistake to my senior brother, I did lie. Upon hearing these words, Lu Yu and the other disciples breathed a sigh of relief in their hearts. That's right. This is the new disciple. If one can comprehend more than 200 methods of using qi, they can establish a new sect and create their own qi method. Unexpectedly, Lin Lan gasped for breath as she spoke, and then continued. Actually, I have come up with 244 different things. I could have come up with a few more, but when it was time, I rounded them up to over 200. Lu Yu. Dot. Disciples. Dot. What? More than 240 types. Lu Yu suddenly had a sentence that he didn't know whether to say it or not. You call this a lie? Damn it. Lu Yugong thought Lin Lan was going to admit himself, but he didn't expect to be even more forced. So he suppressed his anger and gritted his teeth, saying. Okay, you have the guts to give me a demonstration now. Lin Lan nodded and then began to demonstrate. I saw him reach out his hand, countless qi turned into golden dots, constantly converging in his palm, and then a basketball-sized qi ball formed. Basically, all extraordinary individuals who have practiced for more than 3 years can condense into basketball-sized qi balls. If it is out of one's own control, not only will it lose its power, but it will also dissipate with the wind. What must be said can be understood as farting. However, the qi ball in Lin Lan's hand was clearly felt by Lu Yu to be very dangerous and powerful. If it hit him, he was afraid he would shatter it on the spot. Just at this moment, the golden light ball began to deform and turned into an arrow. The arrow transformed into a flame. The flames gradually solidified and turned into a blooming flower. The flowers became transparent, and a liquid floated in the void in Lin Lan's hand. This liquid suddenly grew larger and gradually condensed into a human shape, falling to the ground. The disciples fixed their eyes and took a breath of cold air. Isn't this Uncle Lu Yu? He actually used qi to squeeze out a senior brother Lu Yu. The disciples looked at Lu Yu one after another. And Lu Yu was stunned on the spot. I have some doubts about my own eyes. Nima. Is everything he meows true? On this side, Lin Lan also observed the expression on Lu Yu's face. Seeing that Lu Yu had been maintaining this extremely exciting expression, she thought it was because Lu Yu was not satisfied with herself, so she worked even harder. I saw him with his arms spread out, his right hand standing in front of his shoulder, his left hand lying flat, and his fingertips resting on his right elbow, in an L-shaped position. Lin Lan maintained this posture and aimed towards the sky, only to see that his right fingertip emitted a vertical light from his elbow. Someone recognized the design of this and exclaimed in surprise. Concave and convex. Next, Lin Lan showed dozens of different methods of using qi, including but not limited to using qi to fill her whole body and transform herself into a giant. Gathering qi in her legs to achieve the effect of flying legs. Using qi to forge a set of light armor for herself on the spot. Using qi balls to create a row of tigers that can obey her commands. It's like walking a horse lantern. Various methods of qi transportation were displayed in front of Lu Yu and a group of new disciples. The more Lin Lan was released, the more shocked and dumbfounded everyone became. Their faces were filled with shock and disbelief, and their hearts were pounding like a raging wave. I can't believe they will see so many methods of energy transportation in their lifetime, especially Lu Yu. His heart is close to collapse. Demons. Monsters. Perverts. Why did he join Longhu Mountain? Why did I come to teach him? Who will save me? Lu Yu howled in pain in his heart, as if enduring Lin Lan's repeated lashes. Finally. He can't help it anymore. Stop it, stop it. Ah! Lu Yu let out a roar and then rushed out of the crowd, running without a trace. The other disciples were already shocked beyond measure, and they didn't even notice when Lu Yu left. But Lin Lan only showed about 70 different methods of using qi, and then saw Lu Yu get angry and rush out of the crowd to run. Lin Lan was extremely nervous, thinking that Lu Yu was angry. It must have been because of my poor performance just now that senior brother angrily turned around and left. It seems that I need to work harder and never let senior brother down on me. Lin Lan thought so. Then he saw the expressions of the other martial brothers, who were shocked as if they had been drained of their yang energy, and even cheered others on and took their breath. Dear senior brothers, it seems that senior brother Lu Yu is very disappointed with me. I am not outstanding enough. Please give me guidance. Where else do I need to improve? Upon hearing these words, the other disciples seemed to curl up in a corner, their whole bodies covered in black lines, and they became autistic. Please don't say anything. I think we need to go back to our mother's womb and remake it. QAQ, end of this chapter. Chapter 6. Tian Lao shocked. Teaching Thunderbolt method. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Tian Lao shocked. Teaching Thunderbolt method. Nima. Is everything he meows really true? Over here. Lu Yu cried while running, and his heart roared as he cried. He originally thought that Lin Lan was bragging, pretending to force more than 200 people, deceiving who. Unexpectedly, he was still too young, and Lin Lan actually made over 200. Although this guy only showcased a few dozen of them. But Lu Yu has no doubt about Lin Lan's level of abnormality. As long as you continue to read, you will definitely see more than 200 types. The most frustrating thing is this kid also said that he has come up with 244 different things, so it's considered 200 because he's rounding them up. Count it, Nima. Is there anyone as humble as you? And most importantly, Lin Lan's way of practicing qi is truly unimaginable, and it can even be said that there is no one like him before or after. Qi Tuan can still be understood. Can Nima create such a terrifying Qi Tuan? Such a terrifying Qi Tuan is enough. Lu Yu thinks it's acceptable. But what's wrong with flowers turning into water? Okay. I can tolerate flowers turning into water. But don't you want money for your qi? And he used the water transformed from qi to squeeze out a me. Also, using qi to travel all over the body and transform oneself can also be understood. But what's wrong with creating the shape of Ultraman emitting light and emitting light from his arms? Don't say I haven't seen this thing myself. I'm afraid even the Heavenly Master hasn't seen it, right? A long beam of light shot into the sky with a whoosh, unable to see its head at a glance. After shooting, Nima didn't take a breath and immediately started playing other tricks. Lu Yu believed that Lin Lan might actually pull out some strange shape-shifting device from his arms and directly transform into Ultraman in front of him. Take a look at the entire Dragon and Tiger Mountain. Oh no! Looking at the entire alien world, there aren't many who are as awesome as you, right? Lu Yu couldn't help but compare himself with Lin Lan when he first started. At this moment, he really has the courage to know that there are tigers on the mountain and lean towards the tiger mountain. After a comparison, Lu Yu came to a conclusion. If we talk about Lin Lan's level of abnormality, it's like the Buddha who pins Sun Wukong under the five-finger mountain in Journey to the West. So I am the Supreme Lord, the alchemy furnace, the furnace ash inside Jua. No comparison, no harm. Lu Yu didn't have the courage to go find the heavenly master, so he found Tian Shirya, who was closest to him. Master. Tian, who was originally admiring flowers in the yard, was startled by the sound. Looking back, I saw the child Lu Yu with a dead father's expression. Child, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with your family? Lu Yu stood in front of Tian Lao and cried loudly. Master, you make the decision for me. Lin Lan is too extreme. After hearing this, Master Tian looked puzzled. Who is Lin Lan? Did other senior brothers bully you? Don't be afraid, call him over now, and the master will take this out on your behalf. Lu Yu grinned and shook his head in tears. No, senior master. Then Lin Lan is not senior brother. He is one of these new disciples, the one I told you about with great talent. After hearing this, Tian Lao breathed a sigh of relief and then said in confusion. A new disciple, no matter how talented, should not be able to defeat you, right? He didn't hit me, he just realized over 200 methods of practicing qi in one night. What? Tian is confused. I thought I heard it wrong. So I asked again. What are you saying? He realized over 200 ways of practicing qi in one night. Lu Yu nodded and then began to retell to Tian Lao from beginning to end. It has been said that Lin Lan, dressed in Ultraman style, emitted such an old and long light into the sky, which shocked Tian even more. No wonder I was admiring flowers outside just now, feeling like the sky was shining brightly. I thought someone was secretly setting off fireworks, but I didn't expect it to be this new disciple. Does his qi not cost anything? Why does he want to learn Ultraman? Tian Lao was someone who had seen big storms before and quickly calmed down. Although he doesn't know how this disciple actually achieved it. But if we can't give Lu Yu confidence at this time, these disciples won't be able to teach. And Lu Yu is afraid that he will also fall into deep autism because of this new disciple in the future, right? Tian's eyes rolled and he came up with a solution. Xiao Yuzi, think about it carefully. This disciple's talent is one of them, but it also indirectly indicates that your senior brother teaches well. After listening, Lu Yu was taken aback. Really? Tian nodded heavily. It's true. When did Master deceive you? When I recommended you to senior brother, I knew you could do it and believe in yourself. Lu Yu was hit by Tian Lao's own hand with a tube of chicken blood, and instantly became strong. Tian Lao is right. I am specifically responsible for teaching these disciples the basics. If the disciples practice well, it indicates that I am also teaching well. Even when Master Rongshan returns, I can still invite him for credit and say that Lin Lan was brought out by myself. How is it going? Bully, right? Hey. That buyer has face. Lu Yu suddenly lost consciousness, but he really doesn't have anything to teach Lin Lan now. Thank you for your guidance, Senior Master. But Lin Lan knows everything I know. I don't know, he also knows. What should I teach him? Tian Lao pondered for a moment. Okay, come here. Soon. Lu Yu returned to the training ground with his head and chest high. Originally, Lin Lan herself was almost autistic. He believed that his senior brother must have despised his poor talent, so he left in a fit of anger. Now that my senior brother has returned, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. Lin Lan quickly approached Lu Yu and said with some embarrassment. Sorry senior brother, I have disappointed you. I have only comprehended over 200 things, isn't my talent a bit lacking? Lu Yu's mood had already improved a bit, but when Lin Lan asked him this, his mouth was gasping for breath. Lin Lan, there are over 200 different ways of practicing qi. Try to be strong, every beginner's disciple can understand it. But these are the most basic uses of qi. Yesterday, I told you that the most famous one in Longhu Mountain is the Golden Light Mantra, but what is the most powerful one? Lin Lan immediately replied. It's Thunderbolt. Not bad. Lu Yu patted Lin Lan's shoulder and said, it seems that your notes were not taken in vain. It's just the thunder technique. Let me ask you, are you still not breaking through now? Although Lin Lan didn't know why his senior brother asked, he nodded honestly. Seeing him nod, Lu Yu felt a sense of relief in his heart. This thunder technique needs to be practiced, and whether to break the body is of utmost importance. Those who have not broken the body can use the complete qi and feet of the spirit, which can be practiced with the two qi of lung gold and heart fire. It belongs to yang and is also the most pure yang 5 thunder technique. But if you break your body, you can only start from practicing kidney water and liver wood, which belong to yin. I can only master yin thunder like Master Lin Yu. But of course, no matter what thunder it is, only high-achieving students from Longhu Mountain are eligible to study. As for Lu Yu, he doesn't even know how to do it himself. So he said to Lin Lan, the gathering of the 5 qi forms one, and the method of practicing it is called the 5 thunder correct method. At the beginning, each of the yin and yang qi has its own strength and weakness, making it difficult to ascend at the same time. Therefore, one side must be respected, and the person who has not broken through the body must have complete qi and full yang qi. Therefore, among the 5 qi, there must be the qi of the heart fire leading the gold lung, leading to the first generation. This is the origin of the yang 5 thunder, also known as the crimson palace thunder. The person who breaks the body has already lost their yuan yang, and starting with the original method, the heart, lungs, and yang qi cannot generate energy for a long time, making it difficult to cultivate the thunder technique. However, the Heavenly Master's mansion has instructed its predecessors to change their thinking and prioritize the energy of the kidneys, water, liver, and wood, so that the yin qi rate can be increased. After the yang qi is replenished, they can refine it. This is the origin of the yin 5 thunders, also known as water organ thunder. In this way, the person who breaks the body has the opportunity to cultivate the thunder technique. After you go back today, you should fully understand the thunder technique and hope to see your cultivation achievements tomorrow. Lin Lan looked at his senior brother and saw that he had once again emphasized the word wu. He immediately understood. Senior brother, this is giving yourself a chance. Senior brother, I understand now. This time, I will definitely understand it well. Lin Lan has left. Other new disciples gathered around Lu Yu. Brother Lu, can we also learn more than 200 methods of practicing qi like Lin Lan? Please teach us, Brother Lu. Please ask Senior Brother Lu to teach us. We also want to do that. Lu Yu stood in place like a chick, wanting to cry without tears. Teach you all. I don't even know how to meow, QAQ. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Yin Yang Double Thunder. Are you meowing me? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Yin Yang Double Thunder. Are you meowing me? After Lin Lan returned to the dormitory, she sat cross-legged on the bed and began preparing to comprehend. Senior brother is right. The way I learned to practice qi before was to release my own qi. That is to pinch different qi into different shapes or with different functions. It looks good, but it doesn't have much power. Now, senior brother, it's hard to give yourself another chance. I must firmly grasp it. If Lu Yu knew the true thoughts in Lin Lan's heart, he would definitely scream with tears streaming down his face. Do you want to pretend to be such a pussy? With so much energy released in one breath, apart from the old master, who else can catch it? You drowned me. Soon. Lin Lan abandoned the distractions in her heart and quickly entered a state of comprehension again. The qi in her body also began to automatically move throughout her body the next day. Lu Yu didn't sleep much last night. There's nothing else, he's afraid that Lin Lan will really master the thunder technique today, so it's really abnormal. So he spent the whole night last night pestering Tian Lao to give him chicken blood. Anyway, Tian Lao doesn't sleep at night either. After a few tubes of chicken blood, it really reassured Lu Yu. And Tian Lao's words are very correct. Although the qi released by Lin Lan is already very close to the golden light mantra, and after a little understanding overnight, she has come to understand more than 200 ways of practicing qi. But those are all floating clouds. Perhaps Lin Lan only has talent in the sense and quantity of qi. That's why he was able to do so much flower work. If it were something else, perhaps he wouldn't have such incredible abilities. For example, magic. The legend has been passed down for thousands of years, and the wisdom of our ancestors has been here for thousands of years. Magic and Xingqi can be completely different. If we have to make an analogy, magic is like unlocking a lock, qi is the key, and magic is the lock. Only when all the bullets inside the lock are cleared can the lock be opened. To clear the bullets, it's not that simple. It's not about inserting the key inside and turning it lightly to unlock the lock. The key is what kind of key needs to be inserted inside to correspond. If there is no ready-made one, then one can only explore step by step, and it is best to equip oneself with a key. And different keys can open different locks, which corresponds to different ways of practicing qi among different spells. The thunder technique of Longhu Mountain is one of the most famous spells in the alien world. The full name of the thunder technique on the Zhengyi road of Longhu Mountain is called the Five Thunder Zhengfa. But why is it called the Five Thunder Dharma? It is because if a practitioner of qi wants to use the thunder technique, they must practice qi from within the 5 elements and 5 organs. Pure yang governs fire, which is called heart qi. In yang, little yin governs gold, which is called lung qi. Pure yin governs water, which is called kidney qi. In yin, little yang governs wood, which is called liver qi. In yin and yang, the balance of earth and yin is called spleen qi. The gathering of the 5 qi elements into one is called the 5 thunders. The 5 thunder formation is divided into yin 5 thunder and yang 5 thunder. If the mind is complete and the body is not yet broken, one can focus on the heart fire and lung gold, and use the yang and 5 thunders. If you have broken your body but have excellent talent, you can use kidney water and liver wood as the main techniques to produce yin and 5 thunders. The light ray method has 2 keys that can open 2 different locks. No matter how awesome Lin Lan is, you can't master both types of lightning techniques, Thinking of this, Lu Yu regained some confidence and was in a great mood. As usual, when Lu Yu finally arrived at the training ground, he found that all his disciples had arrived, and he saw Lin Lan in the corner at a glance. Lu Yu walked towards Lin Lan and opened the door directly to see the mountain path. Lin Lan, how did you understand last night? Lin Lan quickly arched her hand and answered. To return to senior brother, this Thunderbolt technique is truly incredibly mysterious. Although I have gained some understanding, I also know that I have deviated from my practice. What? Did you practice something wrong? Great. Refreshing and refreshing. You also have today. Ha ha ha. Lu Yu was overjoyed. I even want to cry out these days of grievances. Great. Finally, it's time for this day. I didn't expect you to have a day when a boat capsized in the sewer, ha. I'll just say, the lightning technique in Longhu Mountain is so mysterious. How could you, this kid, directly master the lightning technique? Lu Yu was frantically suppressing the joy in his heart. If it weren't for maintaining his senior brother's imposing demeanor in front of newly recruited disciples, he would probably be rolling around now. Cough, cough, cough. After all, you are a new disciple. Without the guidance of your senior brother, it is understandable for you to deviate from Qi. Come on, tell me how you got off track. At this moment, Lu Yu's expression was almost grim with joy, and the other disciples also had the same expression. They really wanted to see Lin Lan eating turtles. Lin Lan nodded and raised her left hand after listening to her senior brother's words. But the next second, in the shocked eyes of Lu Yu and his disciples, I saw some black viscous liquid like petroleum oil flowing around his left palm. Senior brother Lu Yu, yesterday you told me to understand more. Apart from the Qi of heart fire and lung metal hair, I took it upon myself and tried to use kidney water and liver wood hair to lead, and the result was like this. My breath has turned into this black and sticky thing, it doesn't look like thunder no matter what. Lu Yu was stunned by the black mucus and suddenly thought of someone. Sleeping trough. Isn't this Uncle Yin Lei? How could he possibly trigger the Yin 5 thunders? That's Yin Lei, right? Is it the oil he secretly smeared? Nowhere is there such a thing in Longhu Mountain. But this is too outrageous, isn't it? This is definitely deceiving. Wait a minute. Aren't you still naked? Lin Lan nodded. How did you use these Yin 5 thunders? Lu Yu roared. Lin Lan had a sudden realization expression. Ah, is this the Yin 5 thunders? According to my senior brother's words, I have also come to understand the thunder technique that originates from heart fire and lung gold. Lin Lan spoke as her right palm opened and a blue and white electric light flashed through her palm. Lu Yu is foolish. He rubbed his eyes desperately, trying to pull himself out of his fantasies. But when I open my eyes again, it's still Yin 5 thunders in one hand and Yang 5 thunders in the other. Lu Yu wished he could give himself a mouthful and see if he was still awake. Demon! How is it possible to have one hand Yin and one hand Yang? Do you have 2 more waists or 2 more hearts than others? Are you still meowing human? Monster! Which immortal sect is this to torture oneself? How did you do it? It's impossible. Lin Lan said innocently. At the beginning, there was indeed a slight imbalance between Yin and Yang, and the heart fire and lung metal wished to fight against the kidney, water, liver, and wood. But I tried using the spleen and earth to generate energy, dividing it into 2 parts. Yin and Yang. To practice Qi. I was able to use the Yin Yang and 5 thunder techniques simultaneously. Senior brother, did I make a mistake? Lu Yu stared at Lin Lan, his mouth almost crooked with anger. Pretend to be forced. He must be pretending. Even the heavenly master cannot simultaneously master Yin, Yang, and 5 thunders. Are you a newcomer pretending to be intimidating in front of your senior brother? Oh my goodness. Is it natural for him to meow? Lu Yu wanted to cry without tears. I immediately began to doubt whether the 5 thunder correct method of Longhu Mountain was fake. Didn't it say that people who haven't broken their bodies can't practice Yin thunder? Isn't it said that Yin, Yang, and 5 thunders cannot be practiced simultaneously? So what's going on with Lin Lan? Woo-woo. If it weren't for the dignity of being a senior brother. Now Lu Yu wishes he could just rush to the Heavenly Master's mansion and ask the old Heavenly Master to understand. However, at this moment, Lu Yu suddenly remembered. Isn't it useless to understand these lightning techniques and not know how to move them? So he said sternly. To comprehend the thunder technique, is it necessary for you to condense the thunder in your hands? This is the thunder technique. What is emphasized is the moves. For example, the palm thunder is the basic move of the Yang 5 thunders. I truly deserve to be my senior brother. Last night, I truly realized what you called palm thunder. Lu Yu. I haven't waited for Lu Yu to react yet. Lin Lan was eager to try, retracting the Yin thunder from her left hand and raising her right hand to the sky, suddenly unleashing a palm thunder. Boom, thunder roared in waves. Several lightning arcs streaked across the sky, and looking up, it was as spectacular as the sky tearing apart several white cracks. After Lin Lan let go of the palm thunder, she casually continued to say something. Besides palm thunder, I have also mastered several other thunder techniques. Boom. It seems that the palm thunder was not directed towards the sky, but towards the head of the landing feather. Lu Yu felt the sky and earth spinning around, almost fainting in front of him. Got it. Did you meow again? What did you realize again? End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Nima. You know all the moves of Yin Lei. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Nima. You know all the moves of Yin Lei. Oh my goodness. What did I do wrong and deserve this punishment? Grandmaster Sanqing, open your eyes and take a look. A monster has infiltrated the Dragon and Tiger Mountain. I thought this guy couldn't understand anything, but instead he not only realized palm thunder, but also realized Yin thunder. Didn't several senior masters clap their chests and say that after practicing one type, they couldn't practice another? Uncle Lingyu has such high talent, can't he only practice Yin thunder? If Master Lingyu found out that someone could not only practice Yang thunder but also Yin thunder, what would they think? That's okay, even if it's his exceptional talent. Even if he has 2 more wastes than others. But now you're actually telling me, how many lightning techniques have you meowed out? That's Lei Fa, you pervert. Are you still letting people live or not? Lu Yu really wants to cry without tears now. What are you compared to Lin Lan? This guy's talent is not just a little stronger, his talent can be said to be incredible. Even the extraordinary figures from the 6 kingdoms and 100 schools, such as Zhuge Kongming during the 3 kingdoms period, have never recorded such rapid cultivation. Lu Yu swallowed saliva, trying to calm his mind. Okay. I just want to see what other tricks you can come up with. Let the storm come harder. I can hold on. Lu Yu, you must be able to do it. Lu Yuqiang pretended to be calm, clenched his fists and looked at Lin Lan, gritting his teeth and asking. So tell me, what other lightning techniques have you come up with? Lin Lan answered seriously. Senior brother, then I'll make a fool of myself. Which one do you want to see, senior brother? Which one? Which one? Okay. You're tough enough. You. Whatever. Whatever. Lu Yu gritted his teeth and said. Lin Lan looked at Lu Yu's expression and thought that her senior brother was not satisfied with her performance. This Dragon and Tiger Mountain is not inferior to the gathering of experts. The difference between oneself and them is a world of difference. Senior brother, don't worry. I will definitely behave seriously. Lin Lan took a deep breath and her eyes became firm. Lin Lan naturally lowered his hands, and countless Yin thunder turned into water stains flowing out of his hands. The other disciples were frightened and retreated when they saw this thing flowing out of Lin Lan's body. Oh my God, what is this thing? Suppressed. Wet and slippery. Sticky. It looks really uncomfortable. Although it looks uncomfortable, I just want people to take another look. What a strange feeling, did he miss it? Upon seeing this scene, Lu Yu was stunned and almost petrified. Release the water and thunder within the body to flow throughout the entire field. Once stepped on, it will weaken the enemy's physical strength, fighting spirit, and energy. This is clearly the northern realm of Yin Lei, Tsangtan. No, isn't this guy just the one who learned the Thunderbolt technique? Why did you even understand the moves of Yin Lei? When did this lightning method become so cheap? Can a newcomer learn in one night? Lu Yu's face twisted, sometimes laughing and sometimes crying. I am still their senior brother, but now I am like a fledgling bird that has never seen the world before, shameful. I saw Lin Lan standing in the center of the water mine and then starting to move. His movement speed was so fast that none of the disciples present, including Lu Yu, could even see Lin Lan's position. He reduces the amount of water and thunder on the ground every time he passes by. Until all the water, dirt, and thunder on the ground disappeared, they gathered on Lin Lan's arm. I saw him leaping into the air, and the water and thunder gathered on his arm suddenly pulled down, creating a huge ravine on the ground that was more than 10 meters long and 2 to 3 meters wide. This is not over yet. After unleashing the Yin thunder, it's time for the Yang thunder to appear. The water and thunder gradually disappeared into Lin Lan's body without a trace. Instead, it showcases the wisps of electricity on Lin Lan's body. Suddenly, a gust of strong wind struck, causing the sky to change color. The originally clear and cloudless sky suddenly became gloomy like a large army pressing down on the border. Thunder flashes occasionally in the dark clouds, echoing the electric light on Lin Lan's body on the ground. Suddenly, a thunderbolt as thick as a water tank landed on Lin Lan, causing a burst of smoke on the ground. The disciples were even more frightened and screamed uncontrollably. The smoke dissipated, and Lin Lan stood in place unscathed. Thunder had already flashed around, leaving black marks one after another. Lu Yu is about to cry. He is about to cry. He has only seen that move once in his life. It was performed by the Heavenly Master when he demonstrated the mysteries of the thunder technique to these disciples. The sky and earth changed color as I raised my hand. The thunderous thunder, pouring down from the sky, is for the thunderous thunder. Although this guy's thunderous display is not as spectacular as Old Master's thunderous display. But this thunderous and powerful move is extremely advanced by Yin Lei, and not many of the 10 closed-door disciples of the old Celestial Master have learned it. How did he learn it? Could it be that the Heavenly Master personally taught him? Thinking of this, Lu Yu suddenly trembled all over. Yes, that's right. No wonder this guy has such a strong talent. He mastered the Yin thunder and Yang thunder in one night, and even automatically realized the moves among them. Perhaps Lin Lan was really taught by the Heavenly Master. This must be a disciple passed down by the Heavenly Master to the outside world, definitely a closed-door disciple. This is what the Heavenly Master specifically sent him to strike down these disciples. Absolutely. It's not running anymore. After Lin Lan used her moves, she carefully observed the expression on senior brother Lu Yu's face. Seeing that his expression was somewhat incorrect, she thought her previous performance had displeased Lu Yu, as she didn't know whether these moves were correct or not. So he asked cautiously. Senior brother Lu Yu, are my lightning techniques still qualified? Lu Yu was taken aback for a moment. Are you asking me? Who am I asking to go? You demon. Lu Yu suppressed the urge to roar in his heart. At least he was also a senior brother, so he couldn't lose face. He forced a smile out of his face. At present, it seems careless. If it were Uncle Rongshan or Uncle Lingyu, they would definitely be able to blow through Longhu Mountain. Sorry, Master Rongshan and Master Lingyu. I can't bear this pot anymore. You guys have to bear this pot. After listening to Lu Yu's words, Lin Lan knew that there was still room for improvement, so she added more fuel to herself and boosted her morale. I know senior brother, I will definitely work harder and never let him down. Effort. I beg you, don't work hard. If you keep working hard, the 66th generation Heavenly Master will be yours. I'm not my senior brother, you're my senior brother. Oh, no, you're my uncle. In the future, it should be disciple Lu Yu, paying respects to the 66th generation of Heavenly Masters. At the thought of this, Lu Yu almost burst into tears. Bullying people. Bullying people. God, open your eyes and take this demon away. However, at this moment, Lin Lan asked, Senior brother, do I still need to continue studying the thunder technique? After hearing this, Lu Yu was startled. Is it okay for you to continue studying? Don't one day you really blow through Longhu Mountain, I won't have the face to face the ancestors of Longhu Mountain. Lu Yu knew that this would not work, so he came up with a clever plan. I saw Lu Yu resting on Lin Lan's shoulder. As Taoists, besides practicing spells, the most important thing for us is to cultivate ourselves and cultivate our character. A Taoist who only knows martial arts is not a good Taoist. So, after you go back, you should have a good understanding of how to cultivate yourself and cultivate your character. You don't need to continue studying today, just go back and understand, go ahead and go. Lin Lan listened to Lu Yu's teachings and was very grateful. She felt that she should be more humble and think that she should study hard. So he nodded forcefully, and then embarked on the journey of continuing to comprehend. Lu Yu breathed a sigh of relief as he watched Lin Lan leave. Cultivating oneself and nurturing one's character, you must not be able to comprehend anything, right? Should I? End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Self-cultivation and self-cultivation, you can understand. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Self-cultivation and self-cultivation, you can understand. Outside a certain university city. Romshan disguised himself as a small vendor setting up a stall at this moment. He has been staring at Zhang Chulan for a while now, and judging from her performance, he doesn't seem like an outsider, he's just an ordinary person. Every day, except for attending classes, I just can't come out in the dormitory. But these days, this kid seems to have had a good luck. I met a student named Lu Yanyan, who seemed to have some interest in Zhang Chulan. The two of them went on a few dates and just entered the hotel across from the university. Romshan showed a smile that even a man could understand and nodded. It seems that they won't come out until tomorrow morning, so I'll go back early too. I don't know what's going on with Lu Yu's side. Although Lu Yu has already mastered the Golden Light Mantra, teaching his disciples is probably his first time. I'm afraid that after I go back, these disciples won't even be able to condense their qi externally. Oh, it's just that. This is also the first time that Lu Yu can't be too strict with him. Just as Rongshan was about to leave, he suddenly saw a van parked at the entrance of the hotel. And some people who seemed to have little coordination were tying Zhang Chulan onto the van. Rongshan's heart sank. He was not a member of the company or a disciple of Longhu Mountain, so there was only one possibility. Completeness. On the other side, Lu Yu finished his day of teaching work and returned to take care of Tian Lao. Tian Lao watched as Xiaolu finished teaching his disciples and hurriedly returned to take care of himself, feeling a little moved in his heart. What a good child. Tian Lao looked at Lu Yu and asked. Xiaolu, how was your teaching today? Upon hearing these words, Lu Yu was taken aback and then thought that Lin Lan might very well be the biological disciple of the old master. How could Tian Shirya not know about the disciple of the heavenly master's own lineage? And I was recommended by Master Tian to lead these new disciples. Among the same group of disciples, I may not have a good talent, but I will definitely not. Is it necessary to guide the new disciples by oneself in order to avoid hindering Lin Lan's suppression of the new disciples as much as possible? Yes, yes. It must be like this. But I understand why you want to suppress the new disciples and not make them too complacent. But don't give me a blow, by the way. Isn't this deceiving people? Old Master and Tian Shirya, two figures from the Shirya generation, joined forces to deceive themselves. If I speak this out loud, everyone's faces will not look good. I'm afraid it will ruin the big deal of the Heavenly Master, and I will also be punished. No, absolutely not, to be honest. It's not difficult to pretend to be smart, but it's difficult to pretend to be confused. I'm Lu Yu smart. As for Master, that disciple only has some talent in qi perception. I followed Master's instructions and let him understand the thunder technique. He did touch the threshold a bit, but it was still ordinary. After hearing this, Tian Lao nodded with peace of mind. That's great, Xiaolu. You've been working hard lately. You're so good at teaching. Rongshan should be back soon. After listening, Lu Yu seemed to grab a life-saving straw. Uncle Rongshan has returned, and it is not oneself who has suffered. Oh my goodness, see you. Oh my goodness. There is still human nature. Uncle Rongshan is finally coming back. Uncle Rongshan, please come back quickly. I am not the only one who has been hit in this way. I'm finally getting rid of the sea of suffering, ha ha ha. The next day, Lu Yu arrived at the training ground earlier than before and took advantage of Lin Lan's absence to take the other disciples to another field to study. Why exactly? The first reason is that yesterday's training ground was whipped out by Lin Lan, causing such a large crack. As for this second one, now other disciples believe that as long as they learn from themselves, they can all go against the sky like Lin Lan. These disciples are also too confident, aren't they? Do you think everyone is Lin Lan? He's not human. He is a demon. Thinking of Lin Lan's incredible intelligence, Lu Yu now feels relaxed all over. Although this kid is still as abnormal as ever. But the task I assigned him yesterday was not for him to continue comprehending qi or magic. I want him to cultivate himself and cultivate his character. Self-cultivation and self-cultivation are nothing more than controlling one's emotions, drinking tea, and sunbathing. High intelligence, can you drink tea and become the king of mountain tea? High intelligence, did you expose the sun to solar energy? High intelligence, can you calm down and freeze yourself into ice? If he really freezes himself into ice, Lu Yu would love to buy 2 hanging whips and put them in front of the Longhu Mountain gate to let him go. Tian Shiye is right. For disciples like Lin Lan who are genius to pervert, we cannot let them be too proud and indulgent. We must suppress it properly. Regardless of whether he is a disciple of the Heavenly Master or not, in the eyes of others now, I do not know his true identity. So even if the Heavenly Master asks, I will still be confident and confident. This kid can never come up with anything today. Quickly, the disciples were settled in another training ground, and a little task was casually left for them. Lu Yu returned to the original training ground, waiting for Lin Lan to come. Perhaps it was because of yesterday's comfortable self-cultivation and self-cultivation that Lin Lan was late for the first time today. Lin Lan looked at the empty training ground, with only Lu Yu left. Her mind was full of doubts and her heart became even more anxious. She quickly ran over. Sorry senior brother, I'm late. Lu Yu watched as Lin Lan was late, thinking that last night this kid went back to understand and cultivate his character. Shouldn't he have fallen asleep after comprehending himself? That's absolutely great. What else can this kid comprehend when he's asleep? Now it's time for my senior brother to act forced. I've suffered a lot these days. Lu Yu chuckled and waved his hand. It's okay, Xiaolin. Do you know why I asked you to cultivate your character yesterday? Ha ha ha, kid, you must have fallen. You definitely can't understand anything. Ha ha ha, I have finally turned over. I am no longer a salted fish that can't be even beaten by someone's hammer. Lu Yu was desperately suppressing himself, and he was about to burst out laughing. However, the next second Lin Lan gratefully said, Senior brother, I know. Speaking of which, I also want to thank senior brother. Lu Yu was taken aback for a moment, and a bad feeling surged in his heart. What are you thanking me for? You must not thank me. Thank you for forcing me to doubt life, TMD. Thank you for hitting me into autism. What do you mean? Lu Yu looked at Lin Lan with a monster-like gaze. Lin Lan looked at Lu Yu with a look of admiration on her face. Senior brother, last night I cultivated my character and came up with a spell. I know that all of this was my senior brother's guidance. Senior brother, you are simply amazing. What? Got it. Why did you realize again? What inferiority have you realized again? End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Lu Yu collapses. I can't continue teaching. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Lu Yu collapses. I can't continue teaching. Destroy it, I'm tired, hurry up. Let the world be destroyed. What's good to be in this world? With Lin Lan as a pervert, this world doesn't need it either. I really don't want to teach anymore. Did he sleep all this out? How could he comprehend everything? Did he also comprehend while eating? Are you also comprehending when using the restroom? I have told him before about Qi and Thunder techniques, how to cultivate them. Even if I didn't explain it in detail, it was me who told Lin Lan the methods or some ways to get started. Speaking of which, I led him down these two paths myself. But yesterday I only told him to cultivate his character. Have you come to understand all these 4 words? Ha ha ha, do you understand? Ha ha ha, he has realized again. Ha ha ha, UTMD. Damn it. Lu Yu has no doubt about Lin Lan now. He said he understood, then he must have understood. Lin Lan's current talent can no longer be described as extraordinary. The sky is no longer sufficient for weight. Not enough, haha. This guy is a god, he is a god. I am the demon, ha ha ha. I am a demon, he is the god. Grandmaster Sanqing. Have pity on me, this little disciple. Don't let me suffer from such torture again. Lu Yu roared and roared wildly in his heart. He faced the injustice of fate and the teasing of fate. He is a true warrior. At this point, Lu Yu also wants to see what Lin Lan has realized. Even if one knows that the road ahead is long and there are thorns everywhere. Even if you know that Lin Lan must be amazing. But he still has to ask. This is courage. Lin Lan, then you come tell me, what have you come to understand again? Lin Lan nodded excitedly and said. Yesterday, my senior brother asked me to go back and understand self-cultivation and self-cultivation. I think what my senior brother said is very reasonable. We are all Taoists. In addition to practicing magic, Taoists naturally need to think carefully about how to cultivate themselves and pursue a state of harmony between heaven and humanity. At first, I did spend a long time, after all, the method of practicing magic and cultivating one's character were completely different. But later on, I remembered my senior brother's calm and composed tone when he spoke to me. I knew it was his senior brother hinting at me, and it was the path he had pointed out to me. I began to observe my inner surroundings. At first, it was really difficult to calm down, and I almost fell asleep. If I wanted to persist in staying asleep, I had to ensure that I fell asleep. This balance was really difficult to control, but fortunately, in the end, I found some tricks. So I came up with a mantra, and after realizing it, I tried it again. I felt that although it had an effect, it was not thorough. Later on, I carefully comprehended and came up with a spell. When combined with the spell to practice Qi, the effect doubled. It can purify the body and mind, eliminate distractions, and stabilize the mind. Senior brother, did I do it right? Lu Yu has lost the desire to resist. You heard calmness from my words, and then you realized so much. How come I don't know there's a hidden mystery in my words? Am I so awesome? I really want you to be so incredible. But I'm not a fairy. Wait, what he said, purifying the body and mind, eliminating distractions, and calming the mind, doesn't that sound a bit familiar? Isn't this the meditation curse he meows? Meditation curse. I haven't even learned it. Lin Lan felt uneasy when she saw that Lu Yu's expression was not quite right. Senior brother, did I realize wrong? Lu Yu half cried and half smiled. You're right. How could you be wrong, It's me who's wrong. The wrong thing is, why did I have to be born? Wrong, why am I called Lu Yu? Why isn't my name Zhao Yu? Why isn't my name Fong Yu? It's me who's wrong, why am I a man? Nima. Is it natural for him to meow? Meditation curse. What he meows is the meditation curse. Nima, I haven't even learned how to meow. What kind of energy in thunder technique, as long as you walk the right way, you can release it. This is barely understandable. But what about the meditation curse? That's a meditation spell. How can one master the calm heart curse without observing the interior for over a decade? Observing the interior is so boring, so boring. Practicing is already very tiring. Practice 3 nines in winter and 3 volts in summer. In order to practice a move well, I don't know how much suffering I will suffer. These sins and hardships are nothing compared to the boredom in the background. In the inner scene, one may even reminisce about the suffering they suffered during cultivation. Only by enduring loneliness and boredom can one reach a state of mental peace. How difficult and rugged this road is. How many people have gone astray and become obsessed with it. But did you learn TMD in just one night? Learn something that others could only learn for over a decade in one night. Ah. I'm not alive anymore. I won't live anymore, ha ha ha. I really want to cut open your brain and see what's inside. Lin Lan watched as Lu Yu gradually became unstable, even with a twisted expression that was almost insane. He soon thought, oh no, he must have misunderstood his senior brother's meaning, so that his senior brother couldn't bear such foolishness and went crazy. At this time, the meditation curse can come in handy. Lin Lan raised her right hand, extended her index finger, and a drop of water condensed out of thin air. Tai Xing, constantly adapting. Exorcising evil and binding charm, protecting life and body. Wisdom is clear and pure, mind and spirit are peaceful. The 3 souls are eternal, and the soul is not lost. Lin Lan held a curse and pointed at the almost insane forehead of Lu Yu. Like a fish about to die of thirst, it encountered water and quickly settled down. Lin Lan breathed a sigh of relief, but not long after, Lu Yu began to become unstable again. Lin Lan said to Lu Yu, I'm sorry, senior brother. Maybe I haven't learned the meditation mantra yet. Lu Yu said with a smile on his face, feeling utterly unattainable. No, you have learned the meditation curse. Although I don't know how far apart your pure heart curse is from old master's pure heart curse. But I know you have already learned. Haha, my goodness. Why do you treat me like this? Am I really so damn? If you don't like me, hit me with lightning and chop me to death. And you, Lin Lan. It is precisely because you have truly learned that I am so restless. Oh my goodness, I can't stand it anymore. I can't teach, I really can't teach. Uncle Rongshan, come and save me quickly. Come and save me. Master, ah. Old master. Ahahaha. I really can't teach anymore. Then Lin Lan watched helplessly as Lu Yusheng smiled and ran away. End of this chapter.